Did you think that building your personal brand would be as easy as having the irresistible offers, the magnetic messaging, these sales systems? Well, so did I. And over the past 5 years, I built two six-figure companies, but my God, was there so much trial and error? And was there so much challenge in amidst that? And so, to help you grow your personal brand way more efficiently than I did, I want to break down the 20 top things that I wish I knew earlier. Now, a word of warning, this video is going to be blunt and direct. And the reason being is that I wish somebody would have been this honest with me in the first 2 years of my business. A lot of the time, people kind of sugarcoated what it would take. And I wish somebody just had the courage to say what I actually needed to hear. And so I am going to be that villain in your story. You can take this message and go, that doesn't apply to me. She's a fucking bitch. Or you can go, huh, maybe she means something here. Maybe she's actually telling me what I need, even if it feels uncomfortable. Which brings me on to my first point. If you're anything like me, you've probably been a bit of a people pleaser since you're about 3 years old. And it comes from good intentions. It comes from wanting to be liked, wanting to be accepted. We have to remember that that's literally the purpose of our brain, is to be safe. And so anything that threatens that safety makes us want to back out, right? And so in business for a really, really long time, I would go out of my way to make sure that I pleased every single person. I would tone down my bluntness. I would tone down my voice. I would tone down a lot of the things about me because I wanted on a deeper level, truly just to be liked by my customers. And then a painful situation arose where even as I did that, people still didn't like me. I still had customers that didn't like what I had to say or didn't fully appreciate me or didn't fully see my value. And it made me realize you can spend your entire business trying to be liked, or you can build a motherfucking company. And I choose to build a company. So, lesson number one is you can try and spend all of your time to be liked, or you can build a company. If you try and spend all of your time being liked, you will build a company based on what other people want, dimming yourself down, dimming down your actual power to make sure that everyone's satisfied, and they still won't be. You may as well set those things aside and build the company and chase your vision and know that the right people will always value your opinions. And some people need a villain in their story. And if they make that you, that's not your problem. Lesson number two. How many times have you said to yourself, when I get to this point, then I will? I did this for fucking ages. I said, when I get to this point, then I will do this big, scary move. When I have this, then I'll do that. When I feel qualified enough, then I will go and say and do XYZ. But here's the thing, it is be, do, have, not have, do, be. If you want to have a certain result, let's say you want to build a thriving personal brand. Let's say you want to build your business to 7 figures. You want to be invited on stages. You want to write a book. Well, in order to have those results, you need to be that person now. There will never be a time where you are qualified enough to start a YouTube, to start a podcast, to start writing your book. That qualified enough time does not exist. You have to morph yourself and your identity into the version of you who is already doing those things, the identity, and then take the actions in alignment with that. So lesson number two, it is be, do, have, not have, do, be. You're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel way out of your comfort zone. You're going to feel like a complete crazy human doing things that don't make sense. And that is the secret to getting everything that you want. Beyonce literally had Sasha Fierce to help her do this. She needed to embody the identity of a fierce woman, of somebody who could take over the stage. But at the time, Beyonce didn't feel like Sasha Fierce. And so she created a persona to embody the be, do, have. And now we know Beyonce. Lesson number three, I went through a phase where I would wake up at like 6 a.m. every single day, down 2 double espressos, sit at my desk in the pitch black because the UK is dark at 6 a.m. And I would be like, on my laptop, grinding away. That's me tapping on the keyboard, grinding away, thinking, oh my God, I am so cool because I do loads of hard work. And the truth was, I didn't really get much done. I spent all of my time complaining that it felt hard, that business growth was so hard, and I kind of got a bit of a kick from it. Now I operate my business in a completely different way. I'm literally in a robe in New York City, having the time of my life, making more money than I ever did when I was grafting. And that is because It is only hard if you think it is, and you get to decide how you want to choose to play the game. So, lesson number 3 is your mind frame is everything. I decided I didn't want to build a business where I'm waking up at 5 and working 12 hours a day, getting not really much of anything done. I understand now that the quality of work is so much more important than the quantity. And so, if I want to build a thriving business and I want to have the time of my life while I do it, because I'm playing the infinite game, meaning I'm not just doing this to make a quick buck, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. You're going to need something sustainable. Why not have fun in the meantime? Why not allow your creative expression to go wild? Why not record a YouTube video in a robe? Why do you make it hard when it gets to be really easy and fun? Lesson number 3 is rooted in the fact that you get to decide how your experience goes. Lesson number 4, I am big on investing in myself and investing in my growth. And you probably are too, because you want to get to your result as fast as physically possible. And you know, if I learn from people ahead of me, then of course I'm going to learn those lessons exponentially faster. So there was a time where I kept buying from the same person. Every single time they would promote their stuff on the internet, I would go, oh my God, I need to be inside of that. They would talk about it like it was the best thing in the whole entire world, that it was this brand new content that nobody had ever seen. The secret, those kind of pieces of content that's like the secret, the number one thing that will change everything for you. And I bought into it every single time. And so I would get into the course a few £100s down, and I would be watching through the content like, oh, this isn't that unique. This isn't that different. I teach this. And it made me realize it isn't about the actual knowledge that you have in your head. The person with the most conviction will win the marketplace. Lesson number 4 is rooted in how convicted you are determines how much money you make. You don't have to be the smartest person, but you do have to have the strongest levels of conviction. I bought from this person over and over and over again. Why? Because their conviction made me believe in them. Lesson number 5, the best way to attract dream aligned clients that actually get the result inside of your world is by showcasing your true values and opinions. Like I said at the start of the video, for a really long time, I didn't talk about how hard it was to grow your business, what it took, the amount of effort, the amount of work that was required, because deep down, I truly believed that it would put people off. I was kind of scared. If I talk about how hard I work, if I talk about the fact that I am working a lot, that I'm doing a lot, that I'm investing more than a house deposit into learning and mentorship and growing so that I can get to my result faster and more efficiently, I was really scared that people would go, well, I'm not doing that. That sounds absolutely batshit crazy. And that sounds like a horrible life to live. So I avoided talking about the truth because I didn't think that people could handle it. And guess what happened? I attracted people that couldn't fucking handle the truth about what it takes to grow a business. And so lesson number 5 is that hiding your true opinions about what it takes will only fuel your fear. Lesson number 6. Have you ever noticed that no one will ever make you wrong for your limitations? You can say, I didn't get this done because, I didn't do this because, and you can blame it on your past, you can blame it on your family, you can blame it on your circumstances, you can blame it truly on anything, and no one will make you wrong for it. No one will say, actually, you could have done better, or actually, this is your responsibility. And this is because as humans, we kind of like it when people do well, but not better than us. And so no one will make you wrong for your limitations, and no one will make you wrong for your fears. And if you actually want to grow, you have to realize that this is the matrix that you are living in. Everyone will validate you. Everyone will tell you it's not your fault. And everyone will tell you, you know what? You are right. It was scary. You did fall into da 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 da. And so they'll validate it and help you stay exactly where you are because that keeps them comfortable. If you actually want to grow, you have to stop validating your own limitations. You have 2 choices. You either fight for your goals or you fight for your limitations. You can't do both at the same time. How to handle when you realize shit hasn't gone your way. You adapt, be like water. Adapt, realize it's no big deal, hold no shame over it. Perfectionism is a function of shame. And so when you have perfectionism as to how it should be, it showcases to your brain that you have shame about something. When we release the shame and we go, it's not that big of a deal, I missed 2 lessons, so fucking what? You actually communicate both to yourself, to your audience, to the world, that you're okay with making mistakes. You're okay with yourself and you love yourself as you are. Lesson number 8. Spend less time learning and spend more time doing. You will learn more from execution and implementation, trial and error, than you will from consuming course after course after course. This is something that I used to do in my business. I would buy a course, I would buy a program, I would buy mentorship. And the truth was, I would buy anything that made me feel better than actually doing the fucking work. Because the truth is, the work can be really boring. Sitting down, writing a video, sitting down, writing a program, sitting down, launching something, not knowing whether it's going to succeed, not knowing if people are going to buy or not, is hard. And what's easier is convincing yourself that you need to learn more before you can do the do. Do more, fail faster. When you learn the rule of failing faster, you will succeed faster because you no longer feel constrained by your knowledge. Lesson number 9, and I actually have a full YouTube video on this lesson because it is so important to me. I will link it below. Stop hesitating and pulling the handbrake up on your dreams. Most people think that they are growing their business, that they're taking action. But when I ask them, what have you launched in the last month? What have you implemented differently? What have you done to actually move the needle forwards beyond just working in the business? They hesitate and they say, you know what? Not really much, because you have the sat nav, you have the big goals, you've got Google Maps up and loaded, but your hand is on the handbrake, not on the motherfucking pedal. Speed is your best friend in business. Do it messy. Do it slightly clouded. Do it without really knowing if it's going to work out or not. This goes not just for the decisions that you make and the investments that you do, but also removing the limitations, removing the things that don't align with your goals. Lesson number 9 is speed is your best friend. Pull off the handbrake, which leads very nicely into lesson number 10. Perfectionism is the killer of growth. How many times have you told yourself, I just need to learn messaging a little bit more so that I can write better content? Or when I crack this sales psychology thing, then I will grow. How many times have you bought into that excuse in your own mind? And all this is perfectionism running the show. The truth is, when we have this level of perfectionism, it is because you have an expectation of an outcome. You want to know that you can make a sale from this post, right? And so you want to make the post perfect. You want to make it so good that somebody wants to pay you immediately. But the thing is, when you're in perfectionism and you're not just being your true, authentic self, you won't attract those people anyway. When you remove the conditions and the perfectionism and you go, I am going to do this messy and I'm going to do it anyway, that is when you'll actually attract dream aligned clients through a post. Lesson number 11, and this is one of the biggest ones that I wish somebody had told me. If you were in the exact same spot as you were 6 months ago, 9 months ago, even if you mentally feel like you have grown and like you're on the brink of a quantum leap and that you're about to do big things, if you are still achieving the same amount of revenue in your bank account every single month, you need to do something drastically different. I really thought for a long time that I had shifted my identity, that I'd shifted my growth, I'd shifted all of the things, and I was just waiting for my external reality to catch up. And you can tell yourself that for a few weeks and then a few months, and then all of a sudden you realize, holy shit, I've not really grown in my revenue in a year. This is not acceptable if you want to grow your business. It takes different action. It takes being honest with yourself about what you're doing, what's not working, what is working, and what you need to do more of. Lesson number 12. Did you know that 90% of business owners never hit 7 figures in their lifetime? And this is because, in my opinion, of a level of entitlement that we have right now. You've probably seen all of the get rich quick schemes. And even if you don't think you have the mindset of a get rich quick scheme, if you aren't willing to put out free content, to do more than everybody else, to deliver to the marketplace, to build your YouTube, to do your masterclasses, to do all of the things, then you are running an entitlement mentality. I remember I had a client who wanted to scale to multiple 6 figures. And so I said, cool, what I'd recommend is that you don't have a podcast, you don't really have anywhere of delivering value right now beyond just a few Instagram posts. So I'd recommend make a podcast, make a YouTube, do a free masterclass, do a free challenge, give value in some way. And she said, I don't really want to do that. That feels like a lot of work. And this is the mentality that is stopping you from growing your business. It is going to be all consuming. It's going to require so much more of you than you think. And so if you think about Alex Hormozy, who has recorded what, like multiple content pieces every single week for the past however many years, and then did a 9-figure launch in 48 hours, was because of all of the value he had previously provided and the trust he had built up in the marketplace. Don't be entitled, do the work. Lesson number 13, there is no magic pill. In my fitness business, I worked with a lot of clients who would come in having done many different diets, different programs. And they were like, I just don't understand why I haven't yet lost the weight. And the truth was, all of these strategies could have worked. The keto could have worked. The carnivore diet could have worked. The intermittent fasting, they all could work because they all effectively put you in a calorie deficit. But only the ones that feel aligned and sustainable to you are the ones that will work in the long run. It doesn't matter what anybody tells you about this is the only framework, this is the only strategy. It has to be one that you actually feel good doing. Otherwise, you will self sabotage and you will quit at the fastest opportunity. And so, lesson number 13 is that all strategies work, but you have to find the one that works well for you. Anyone that tells you there is one secret, there is only one way of growing, is lying to you, and it's marketing material. Every single thing works, but it's finding the one that works best for you. Lesson number 14. I am a very creative person. I have lots of different facets to me. I like this, I like that, I like this, I like that. And I really wanted my business to be an expression of myself. But when I was in business mentorship, in my fitness business, one thing that I found was this rigidity of you have to do it this way. But every time I asked why, they couldn't explain it. And so, lesson number 14 is that if they can't explain why, they probably don't know what they're talking about. Be careful who you take advice from. Lesson number 15, and I know you need to hear this one today, so listen in closely, take notes, lean in because this one's going to hurt. If you constantly feel like you need to fix something in your business, you are consuming too much marketing. I worked with a client who was constantly like, my messaging's off, my offers are off, my sales strategy is wrong, there's something wrong with da 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 da. And I asked her, what makes you think this? Because you're bringing in sales, your business is growing. So what is leading you to believe that something needs fixing? And she said, well, I saw this person's post or this person's email. And what you have to remember is that this is all marketing material. Marketers have the intention of telling you something is wrong so that you buy from them to fix it. It's marketing 101. I do it. We all do it. But if you constantly think that there is something wrong in your business or in yourself, it's likely that you're consuming way too much marketing. It's getting in your head and it's actually distracting you from the business growth that you're capable of. Lesson number 16, and it took me over £100,000 in investments to understand this one. You can hire the best of the best of the best mentors, but it is ultimately up to you to grow your business. This one's self-explanatory, but sometimes I think we think that if I hire this person, they'll give me the secret strategies. They'll give me the formula. They'll give me the success codes that I've been missing. And the truth is that is not the truth. And the reality is that is so far from the truth. It takes trial and error with their methodologies, but most people don't want to do the hard work, the trial and error. They want to skip and find somebody else who can promise them the magic pill, only to realize it's the same thing. You need to try something out, learn from it, grow from it, pivot, learn, grow again, and then you will get the result. Most people don't have the patience to actually stick with something, and so they'll hire somebody else in hopes of that magic pill. Lesson number 17, you don't have a money block or a visibility block. You just haven't done the things. I've had so many clients come to me saying, I have a visibility block. No matter what I try, I can't grow my following. I have a money block. No matter what I try, I can't make more money. And this is, again, marketing. Somebody has told you online it is a money block and that's the reason you're not making more money. Someone's told you you must have a visibility block if you're not gaining any followers, right? And again, it's marketing. It's clever marketing because it takes a problem that you have and it gives you an answer that validates why you haven't yet got the result. I did this. I believed this for a really, really long time. And the truth was, it was because I didn't want to take responsibility. I told myself I had a money block, and that was the reason why I couldn't make the money that I wanted to make. But the truth was, I couldn't make the money I wanted to make because I just wasn't doing enough things. I wasn't doing the right things and I wasn't doing them consistently enough. And even if you do have money wounds and limiting beliefs that you need to work on them. Don't use them as an excuse as to why you haven't yet grown your business. Lesson number 18. Investing, taking big swings, doing the scary things is literally the entry cost of success. I used to think that investing in myself would fix everything. I'd be like, okay, I've invested so much money into this mentorship. That's it. All my problems are solved. I'm going to be a millionaire. What I didn't realize is that that was literally the entry cost. That was walking through the door, and there was a whole fucking mountain I had to climb. And this mountain is rocky. I'm going to trip on a rock. I'm going to fall down. I'm going to fall to my feet. I'm going to be challenged left, right, and center. And that is the entry cost still. You don't succeed by just investing in yourself or taking a big swing and then it all goes to plan. Can you imagine going to a speech and hearing from these inspirational speakers and they're like, yeah, I invested in myself and everything just worked out? You'd be bored. You wouldn't be inspired. You want to hear from people that have done the challenge and up and down and up and down. And this is the exact framework they follow in movies in Hollywood as well. We want to see the hero's journey as you go up and down and up and down and overcome the challenges. And so investing, taking the big swings is the entry cost. You have to be delusionally brave. And if you're not, you're likely better off pursuing a 9 to 5 career. Just saying, which ties into lesson number 19. Pain isn't a good marketing strategy, but it is a good personal direction tool. There came a point in my business where I realized I wasn't fully aware of the consequences of the actions I was taking. I was doing a bit of a yo-yo diet in my business. I would push really hard and then I would dip, and then I'd push really hard and then I would dip. And my income was really, really inconsistent. And that was fine temporarily. But then I looked into the long term of what I wanted. And I realized if I continued down that pathway, not only would I struggle to pay my rent, to have the lifestyle that I wanted to have, I would also struggle to have a family, to have peace, to have joy. And so I realized the consequences of me continuing to do the same things and being the same version of me were far worse than the yo-yo diet and business that I was on. When I actually sat down and looked at the consequences of me not getting to where I wanted to get to and being in the same yo-yo diet and the insecurity and the fear around money, that was enough to make me want to change something drastically. And so use pain wisely. Don't use it to try and sell to people, but use it for yourself to align your actions. Last but not least, lesson number 20. Spend more time contemplating and less time using AI. Right now, there are so many people relying on AI for everything. Maybe you've done it. Maybe you find yourself unable to really create content, think for yourself without it. But when it comes to growing your business, the time that you spend contemplating, thinking, analyzing, really just letting your brain go free with the ideas, with the creation, that is so valuable for building the creative muscles and neural pathways in your brain. Do not become lazy and rely on AI to write your content, write your podcast episodes, write your offers, because it will lead to a brain that is slowly shrinking. Your neural pathways will slowly shrink and you will fall very, very far behind. Spend more time contemplating, analyzing, thinking. Spend time without your phone, just thinking to yourself and journaling on what you want to do and what's not working. When you do this, you will realize how much more expansive your brain feels. And so that is 20 lessons I wish I learned earlier about business. And here's the thing, I want you to go and take action on this. If you've been listening to this training and you're about to go and listen to another training or about to go and procrastinate even further, stop it. Write down the actions that you are going to take as a byproduct of these lessons. What clicked for you? Drop it in the comments, because also when you share it, you also reaffirm it in your brain as to what you are going to change. What are you going to change? Who are you going to be differently? What are the different actions that you are going to take? Set the intention to never ever, this can be training 21, lesson 21, okay? Set the intention to never ever just learn and listen, but to action immediately, at least 1 to 2 action points after every single thing that you consume. Even if what you consume is Sex in the City, I guarantee you'll learn something if you actually contemplate it and use your mind to think of a lesson. If you found this episode helpful and you would like more trainings like this, drop me a comment, let me know, make sure you subscribe and like the channel, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video.